God's a love that's divine, yours and it's mine like the sun.
I was able to be with a Sunday school class years ago, and I asked the Sunday school class, why was Jesus born in Bethlehem? And little Johnny raised his hand and he said, I know. And he said, because his mother was there. My birth mother used to say often that when I was born, the doctor smacked me. And I thought it was applause. And I've been looking for it ever since. The English novelist, poet, playwright, author of Woman in Love, D.H. Lawrence wrote, "She is my first great love. She was a wonderful, rare woman you do not know. As strong and steadfast and generous as the sun." And so my lesson today, my talk, is titled, "She is my first great love." I was fortunate enough to have two great mothers. My birth mother, Anna Lee, died when I was 8. My father remarried, and I got my stepmother, Genevieve. And Genevieve was my mom until she died in her 70s. And I have to say that I was so blessed by my mothers. And I'll give you some examples today of ways that my birth mother and my stepmother, my second mom, blessed me in my life. My moms weren't perfect. They made mistakes. They didn't always do the right thing. But they always loved me. And I'd like to celebrate mothers today, and hopefully that you can celebrate yours and other people who may have loved you in a motherly way in your life. And I'd like to invite us to move to a place of healing, if that is necessary for you in your relationship to your mother. Because I know that our mothers all do the best they can, don't they? I believe that everybody does the best they can, but sometimes we miss the mark. So I'd like us to know that this Sunday service today is a field of healing energy. And we know that the presence and power of love is moving in this space right now, touching our minds, our bodies, our thoughts, healing us. Because as we manifest this healing, as we receive this healing, we are able to move forward on this planet and do the work that Spirit intends for us to do. So let us hold this sacred place together this morning. I want to share with you a story that is close to my heart. And it's a story that takes place in England. It's a story about a mother, a story about a home where a family lived. And in the middle of the night, a fire started. And the family ran outside. And when they got outside, the mother realized that her infant baby girl was still in the crib in the house. And so she went into the house and she got this baby girl, and she took her outside and saved her life. Sometime later, when this baby girl had grown into a beautiful adolescent, she came into her mother's room one day by surprise, and where she did, her mother kind of withdrew her hands. And the daughter looked, because she'd never seen her mother's hands before, because her mother always wore gloves. And she said, "Mother, let me see." And her mother said, "I have to tell you about these hands. The day of the fire, when I realized that you were still in your crib, I ran in the house and I went up the stairs and fought the fire and grabbed you out of your crib. And I went to turn to go down the stairs, and the stairs were ablaze, and I couldn't carry you down the stairs. So I went to the window and yelled for your father and dropped you into his arms. And then I jumped from the window. And as I was coming down, I tore my hands on the lattice work, and they were already burnt from the fire. The doctors did the best they could, but my hands have never recovered. And that's why I've never shown them to you." The daughter grabbed the hands and she said, "Oh, Mom, these are the most beautiful hands I've ever seen. They are so beautiful." A mother's love. Yeah. This is a poem again by Kahlil Gibran, and it's titled "On Children," but it really says a lot about parenting. He wrote, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they don't belong to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. My mother's taught me a lot of things. And I'd like to share with you some of the truths, some of the teachings that my mother shared with me. And perhaps you can relate to them, and maybe you've learned these things from your mothers or the motherly figures in your lives. My stepmother, Genevieve, never said a bad word, a negative word to anyone. Isn't that amazing? I can never remember her ever gossiping about somebody. I can never remember her saying or judging somebody. Never. I don't know if I know anyone like that now. She used to say, cultivate a short memory. Yeah. Don't remember. If somebody does something to you, don't remember it. Let it go. Such a simple truth. Both my mother, Anna Lee, my birth mother, used to love me so much. And I can remember when I was very young, I tripped in the backyard and I fell and I cut my eyebrow right here on some bricks, yeah, in the garden. And and my dad drove my mom and I to the emergency room to get my eyes sewn up because it was bleeding all over. And I learned then and in the future, she used to say to me, when you're hurting, feel it. She would say, feel everything. Let yourself feel it. And then move on. It's like, you know, I would be crying about something, and then at some point she would say, okay, Blaine, it's time to let it go. You cried, you felt it. Now don't dwell on it and move on. Feel everything. Genevieve, my stepmother, also used to say, take yourself lightly. I was so tough on myself. In junior high and high school, I was always like, oh, I wish I could do this better. Oh, why can't I do this? Oh, this is so difficult. Anybody else? And she would say, Blaine, just take yourself lightly. And she would use that saying that we've all heard, angels can fly because they take themselves lightly. Don't be so hard on yourselves. We tend to be the hardest judges of ourselves, don't we? And when we get to that place, and her lesson to me, and what I hope you get today, is love yourself. Don't treat yourself so roughly. Treat yourself lightly. Genevieve, my stepmom, used to say, be interesting. If you want to have a lot of friends, which was important to me, she said, be interesting. Learn a lot of different things. Learn something about many different subjects so that you can talk about a number of different things with different people. I thought that was so great, such great advice. So now I know a lot about a few things. No, that's not what I meant to say. I know a lot about a lot of things. I know a little about a lot of things, and a lot about a few things. So, be interesting. Expand your horizons. Read different subjects. Study different things. I loved science and geology. Mathematics, not so much. English, not so much. History, yeah. Theater, yeah. Find the things that are interesting to you and delve a little deeper. Be interesting. My mother, Anna Lee, when I would get mad at somebody, as you know, she died when I was 8, but lots of times I'd get mad and I'd go, you know, that Johnny was so mean to me today at first grade, and he wouldn't let me do my own work. He took my toys. And she would say, Blaine, he's your best friend. He likes you very much. She would say, find something to like in him. And the broader teaching that she taught me was find something to like in everybody. And I do that to this day. It's to find something that I like in everyone. Their attitude, their smile, their intelligence, their wisdom, their enthusiasm, their power, their truth, their beauty. And then from that perspective, hold that when you communicate with them. Do you see the power in that? Because they get it. If we are beholding someone in love or like, they feel it. And so, when we are able to open our hearts to others, their hearts in the same way open to us. So find something to like in everyone. Practice liking everyone. I remember when Genevieve was aging, and she started to get these mysterious things happening to her body, like gray hair, like wrinkles, like spots and bumps, and I lovingly call mine old people's bumps. I'd say, because she'd joke about them. And I'd say, how can you joke about them? And she would say, Blaine, I earned these. Yeah, I earned these wrinkles. I earned this gray hair. I earned these spots. And they're memories to me of all the great times I've had in my life. So she would say, celebrate your age. Celebrate the way that life has impacted you, because it is a result of that life that you are who you are. Embrace your age, your wrinkles, your spots. Barnacles was another good thing for, I've heard a lot since I've been here on Maui. Go to the dermatologist and they're like, okay, got the barnacle remover. Reminds me of being a kid and taking our boat to the dry dock, and scraping the barnacles off the bottom of the boat. Yeah, now that boat is me. Both my mothers used to say, do your spiritual work. We grew up going to, I grew up in a gosh, I can't think of the name of the church right now, Disciples of Christ. And we used to go every Sunday. Then at some point, when I started to expand my thinking, my stepmom, Genevieve, would say, Blaine, do whatever feels good for you. Follow your own heart. Follow your own path. Follow your own guidance. Let go of the things that don't serve you anymore. But do your spiritual work. Have that connection to the essence and truth that is life and love and spirit and God and creator to you. My mother, Anna Lee, I can remember being a child and it was pouring down rain. And she said, we're going to go outside and go for a walk in the rain. And we would skip down the street and sing and dance and just let the rain soak us, yeah? And then we got home and we topped it off by making mud pies. And we played, and if you can't imagine a mother throwing mud pies at you, but mine threw mud pies at me. Because she was fun, and that's the last thing I want to talk about is have fun. Laugh a lot. Laughter, as it's been said, is the best medicine. I come by it rightly. My mom had a great sense of humor. My stepmom had a great sense of humor. My dad had a great sense of humor. I like to think I do. My choice of jokes always aren't so good, but I do the best job that I can. So, and laughter is amazing because laughter is a natural pain reliever. When we are laughing, it sends chemicals through our system that actually relieve our pain. Laughter, it's been proven, strengthens our heart. Laughter actually builds your abs. Yeah? So you're looking to get some abs? Laugh a lot. Laughter wards off disease. Laughter boosts our immune system. Laughter reduces stress. And laughter improves our view of life. It's said that laughter can heal depression. So laugh. Love. Remember your mothers. And I have one last story to share with you. And this story is written by a man named Larry James. And it's a story about how his mother loved strawberry malts. He starts off, "My mother loved strawberry malts. It was always a thrill for me to drop in and see her and surprise her with her favorite beverage." In their later years, both my mom and dad lived in a life care retirement center, partially due to the stress of my mom's Alzheimer's condition. And because my dad had become ill, he was no longer able to take care of her. They lived in separate rooms, yet they were together as much as possible. They loved each other so much. They would be seen hand in hand, those silver-haired lovers, strolling the halls, visiting their friends, passing out love. They were roommates of the retirement center. Oh, romantics of the retirement center. When I realized that my mother's condition was worsening, I wrote her a letter of acknowledgement. I told her how much I loved her. I apologized for my orneriness. I told her that she was a great mother and that I was proud to be her son. I told her things that I had wanted to tell her for years, but that I had been too stubborn to say until now. It was a detailed letter of love and completion. My dad told me that she often spent hours reading and rereading this letter. It saddened me to know that my mom no longer knew who I was. She would often say, "Now, what was your name?" And I would proudly reply that my name was Larry and that I was her son. She would smile and reach for my hand. I wish I could once again experience that reach. On one of my visits, I stopped by the local malt shop and brought my mother and father each a strawberry malt. I stopped by her room first, reintroducing myself to her, chatted for a few moments, and then took the other strawberry malt to my dad. By the time I returned, she was almost finished with the malt. She had laid down on the bed for a rest. She was awake. We both smiled when I entered the room. Without a word, I pulled a chair up to the bed and reached out to hold her hand. It was a divine connection. I silently affirmed my love for her. In the quiet, I could feel the magic of our unconditional love. After about 10 minutes, I felt her give my hand a gentle squeeze, and then 3 squeezes. They were brief, and instantly I knew what she was saying without having to hear any words. The miracle of unconditional love is nurtured by the power of the divine. I couldn't believe it. Even though she could no longer express her innermost thoughts like she used to, no words were necessary. It was as though she came back for a brief moment. Many years ago, when my father and she were dating, she had invented this little special way of telling my dad, "I love you." While they were sitting in church, he would softly give her hand 2 squeezes, as if to say, "Me too." I gave her hand 2 squeezes. She turned her head and gave me a loving smile, one that I shall never forget. I remembered her expressions of unconditional love for my father, our family, and for her countless friends. Her love continues to profoundly influence my life. Another 8 to 10 minutes went by. No words were spoken. Suddenly, she turned to me and quietly spoke these words: "It's important to have someone who loves you." I wept. They were tears of joy. I gave her a warm and tender hug, told her how much I loved her, and then I left. My mother passed away shortly after that. Very few words were spoken that day. Those she spoke were like words of gold. I will always treasure those moments. There is no greater love than a love that comes as motherly love. A love that our mothers share with us, a love that we as their children get to carry on this tradition of love in our lives. And I invite you today, and maybe in this time between Mother's Day and Father's Day, to really allow yourself to have a healing of love, and to find ways in your relationships with your mother, with the energy that she is in the universe, to have a transformative, loving experience. To let go of all that doesn't serve you, so you can carry on that tradition of love and be that loving presence in everything you think, everything you say, and all that you do. She is my first great love. She was a wonderful, rare woman. Now you know. As strong and steadfast and generous as the sun. I send thoughts of gratitude and love to all mothers. And I invite you to close your eyes. And let us take a deep breath and feel the energy of love and light that is moving as you. Perhaps you're even aware of this motherly love. This love that abides in the essence and the truth of all that you are. This love that abides in every cell, every space, every tissue, every thought. And we know that right now, in this moment, This vibration of love is moving in and through and as you. Magnifying itself. Breathing in and breathing out. Loving Spirit, loving God, divine mind. Thank you for the loving, gentle way that this love impresses each of us. Let us carry this love out into the world to be the presence. Let us carry forth this love from our mothers and to extend it to everyone we see. To everyone with whom we speak. Let's imagine that this essence of love is moving across this planet, touching all hearts. Let us see all life invigorated with the power of love. And let us turn within and rest for a moment or two, embracing this love. Breathing in. Thank you, loving Spirit. Thank you for this gift of life, for all the joys and all the loves, all the tears, all the light. Breathing in and breathing out. Returning once again, invigorated, rejuvenized, ready to love. And I invite you to begin to bring your awareness back to this moment, becoming aware of the light through your eyelids, and then to open your eyes with a soft gaze. And so it is.
Where I live, there are